This study investigates the accuracy of OpenAI's GPT-4 model in predicting moral opinions across different countries and moral domains. Using responses from the World Value Survey and the European Value Study, covering 18 moral issues across 63 countries, the study calculates country-level mean scores for each moral issue and compares them with GPT-4's predictions. The results confirm previous findings, showing that GPT-4 has greater predictive success in high-income countries than in low-income ones. Factor analysis reveals that GPT-4 bases its predictions primarily on a single dimension, presumably reflecting countries' degree of conservatism, liberalism. However, the real-world moral landscape appears to be two-dimensional, differentiating between personal, sexual, and violent, dishonest issues. When moral issues are categorized based on their moral domain, GPT-4's predictions are found to be remarkably accurate in the personal sexual domain, across both high-income and low-income countries. However, the predictive accuracy significantly drops in the violent dishonest domain for both high-income and low-income countries, indicating that GPT-4's omnidimensional worldview does not fully capture the complexity of the moral landscape. The study highlights the importance of considering not only country-specific characteristics but also the characteristics of the moral issues at hand. Large language models, LLMs, form their understanding and knowledge through the processing of their pre-training data and are susceptible to various biases, including those related to race, gender, political ideology, and religious affiliation. Understanding where these models excel and fall short is crucial, particularly in the domain of moral opinions. The distinction between personal sexual and violent dishonest moral domains, first proposed by Vauclair and Fisher, 2011, is particularly relevant, as it highlights the complexity of the moral landscape and emphasizes the importance of considering the characteristics of the moral issues at hand. The study underscores the importance of recognizing the diversity of moral issues and the need for multidimensional taxonomies of cultural values to comprehend cultural diversity. The study conducted a factor analysis on World Value Survey, WVS, data and generative pre-trained transformer, GPT, data, revealing two distinct categories of moral issues: personal sexual and violent dishonest. In the WVS data, these issues are driven by two factors, while GPT data is driven by a single underlying factor. This discrepancy is attributed to GPT's inability to capture nuanced explanations suggested by real-world data. A correlation analysis between country-level means for personal sexual and violent dishonest issues in GPT and WVS data showed a high correlation in GPT estimates, but only a weak correlation in WVS data. This indicates that GPT's single factor does not accurately reflect the complexity of moral attitudes in the WVS data. Further examination of GPT-4's performance in estimating societal variation in moral attitudes across countries revealed that it performs significantly better in high-income countries than in low-income countries. The accuracy of GPT-4's estimates depends more on differences between different types of moral issues than on country income level. In the personal sexual domain, GPT-4 accurately estimates societal variation, with a correlation of 0.85. However, it performs poorly in the violent dishonest domain, with a correlation of 0.23. This suggests that GPT-4's single factor does not capture societal variation in the violent dishonest domain, as seen in the example of Armenia and the Philippines. The research investigates GPT-4's ability to estimate moral opinions across diverse countries, replicating previous findings that show GPT's estimates correlate with real-world data, being more accurate in high-income countries. The analysis focuses on personal sexual and violent dishonest moral issues, examining GPT's country-level means and their correlation with World Value Survey, WVS, scores. In the personal sexual domain, a strong positive correlation was found between GPT's liberalism estimates and both GPT's and WVS's country-level means, suggesting a liberalism conservative dimension explains GPT's estimates and real-world variance. In contrast, a strong negative correlation was observed in the violent dishonest domain, indicating little real-world variance explained by the same dimension. The study's findings have implications for understanding GPT's capabilities and limitations in estimating moral opinions across different cultures and economic backgrounds. The authors conduct a comprehensive examination of cultural bias in large language models, building upon existing research in the field. They draw inspiration from Dow et al.'s work on auditing and mitigating cultural bias in LLMs, which involves identifying bias in language models and developing strategies to address it. The authors utilize the joint EVS/WVS 20,172,022 dataset, a comprehensive survey of cultural values and attitudes across various countries, to analyze cultural bias in LLMs. This dataset provides a rich source of information on cultural values, allowing the authors to investigate how LLMs reflect and perpetuate cultural biases. The methodology involves training LLMs on a diverse range of texts and evaluating their performance on a culturally sensitive task. The authors employ a cross-cultural multi-level approach, similar to Vauclair and Fisher's study, to examine the relationship between cultural values and ILM's performance. The results, presented in Figure 1, illustrate the correlation between cultural values and ILM's bias, revealing significant correlations between certain cultural values and ILM's bias. These findings suggest that LLMs tend to perpetuate cultural biases present in the training data, with important implications for the development of culturally sensitive AI systems. The authors acknowledge limitations, including the reliance on a specific dataset and the need for further research on mitigating cultural bias in LLMs. The study emphasizes the importance of considering cultural values in AI development, building upon Schwartz's work on mapping and interpreting cultural differences worldwide.